Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm setting up my bullet journal for May. Currently New Zealand is in level 4 of the lockdown. We will be in lockdown for a couple more days until the 27th or 28th of April, and then we will be transferring into level 3. This means that some businesses will be able to open, and as for school, it means that from early learning to year 10 is able to go to school only if they need to. If they're able to stay at home, then they need to stay at home. Whereas for us seniors from year 11 to 13, we're going to be staying at home because we're old enough to stay at home alone. Because if your parents need to go to work, then if you're under the age, you can't really stay at home because that's how it works in New Zealand. So Jacinda Ardern has extended our level 4 lockdown, and we will be moving into level 3 soon for 2 weeks, and then the government will decide after that if we're going to move to level 2 or back to level 4 according to where we're at that stage. Now that I have spent my time explaining that, let's move on into what the video is actually about, which is my May bullet journal theme. So for May, I've decided to do an outer space sort of carnival theme. I've taken this planet and sort of turned it into a merry-go-round. So the astronauts are actually swinging off the merry-go-round. So that's what my idea was. And since last I've also used this black paper at the corners and torn off the edges to give it that look. I've done something like this before in the past with brown paper instead, and I really like that idea. So what I've done for this month is use black paper, and I'm using white ink to go over where it overlaps on the drawings. If that makes sense, you'll see when it comes up. So this is what I was talking about. I've got my white gel pen and I'm just going over the parts where the black is overlapping the drawings. Now I'm just cutting off the excess of the black paper. Okay, so this part was actually done a little bit later from when I had finished the original thing. I just felt like it looked a bit plain, so I went in with my black and white pens and just added some stars and like circles. And here is May's cover all done. Now we're moving on to the calendar. If you already couldn't tell from my change of outfit, I actually did this not even the day after, but like a couple of weeks after I finished my monthly cover. I don't know, it just didn't have enough time to finish it. But then I finally sat down and did everything. Anyways, what I'm doing here right now is just measuring out where I should have the black paper be. And I also drew on the parts I will be covering so I know where the paper's supposed to go, because that one was like a scrap piece of paper instead of one of the corner pieces, because those ones are a bit easier to measure with the side of my bullet journal. Alright, so my inspiration for this astronaut right here was like an astronaut holding balloons, but the balloons are planets instead. Like the ones at the carnivals. And also kind of like Pennywise, if anyone's watched it. If you haven't, you really should, it's a good movie. Now I'm just sticking on that black piece of paper, and if you can see there's the pencil markings of the planets that I had drawn before, and I'm just going over them with my white pen, and I'm adding in the shading and a little details I have of the planets on there. And I'm going in again with my black and white pen for those details, and that is our calendar all done. Next, I'm going to do the habit tracker. So for this one, I have 4 habits that I'm going to be tracking. Last time I had 3, but I've got one more new one. And actually, I've got another one now, so I have 5 in total. So I added that in after I had done all the filming. Now, the inspiration behind the habit tracker astronaut is that he's sitting on a swing which is attached to the moon. Yeah. So for the moon, I was going to do like a whole bunch of dots that were more dense when they were closer to the line and slowly spread out, but I kind of got a bit lazy and just did these little squiggly lines. So now onto the mood tracker. So this one is a bit different than all my other spreads because there's no astronaut in this actually. This one is a gumball machine. Now instead of there being gumballs inside the machine, it's actually going to be planets. Now I'm drawing in some circles, which will be the planets inside the gumball machine using the circle maker that I have. And I'm just adding in some details to make the planets look a little different, like the rings and the little details and shading. Now I'm going in with those pens again and adding those little details, and that is our habit tracker and mood all done. Now moving on to our first weekly spread. This time I actually changed up my set out a little bit. What I've done is I've made 6 big boxes, and that will be where I put my notes and my homework, and these 6 smaller boxes is going to be my school timetable and any other notes that I have for the day. Now for the doodles, I'm adding this little astronaut which will be holding the balloon planets like the calendar that I have. In this video, I'm not going to be putting the rest of the weeklies for the month that I've done. Do comment below if you want me to post the weeks in May as separate videos. And this is the final flip through. Thank you for watching my May bullet journal setup, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!